Well, hello everybody. I am Louise Eddington. I am the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. And while you're here, why don't you hit subscribe to my channel and also maybe check that little bell to get notified when I upload new videos, and give the video a like, a thumbs up, and leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. Now, today I'm going to talk about the Leo full moon. I'm not going to go into huge detail. I'm kind of going to give you a big overview of what I think of it, because the Weirdly Magical podcast that I do with my very good friend Jen Deshen gives an in-depth look at the chart. But there's a couple of things I'm going to mention that perhaps weren't mentioned on the podcast, but I'm also going to go through all signs. So what's this first full moon of the year about for your sign? But when I get to the signs, I would say please look at the sun sign and the rising sign, if you know your rising sign, because it's more based on the rising sign, to be honest. If you don't know your rising sign, just go by the sun sign. It will still have some validity. So here we go. I'm going to share the chart. If you get confused by the energies of the chart, don't worry. But I wanted to show you this incredible pattern. All right, so I'm just going to probably draw a line. So here is the moon. It's a full moon in Leo at 9 degrees and 5 minutes. It's conjunct asteroid Hygeia, which represents health and global health, by 1 solar arc minute. So I'm kind of thinking this may be kind of a peak period and things may be on the down. We'll see. And there are other reasons I think that. And because it's a full moon, the moon and the sun are always in opposition with the earth in the middle. And so the sun is over here at 9 degrees and 5 minutes of Aquarius, and almost exactly conjunct asteroid Lilith, the only physical asteroid, the only physical manifestation of Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is kind of the outsider who was shunned and pushed aside. Asteroid Lilith is the physical Lilith, that was created equal to Adam in the myth. So she is the body that was in the Garden of Eden, fighting for her equality before she was shunned. So she's a very strong character. And Jupiter in Aquarius is also at 9 degrees. So you can see these are all within 12 astrological minutes. So this is a very, very big conjunction. And Jupiter is expansive, is wonderment, is faith. And so this full moon has a big sense of awe and wonderment and expansion in it. And the sun, of course, rules the sign of Leo, and so the moon is in the sign of the sun. It's bringing together the yin, the yang, and the lights in a very big way. Now, the full moon is also in square to Mars in Taurus, which could bring some volatility and some kind of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Yeah, volatility will do, to the full moon. But it could also bring a great deal of drive and energy to initiate change and bring creative expression into this, because Taurus is an earth sign, but it's ruled by Venus, so it's earthly manifestations. There's also a degree of letting go more of our attachment to physical stuff, because Taurus is very everything you can see, hear, feel, and touch. It's abundance, it's money, it's all that kind of stuff. And the conjunction to Uranus, which is also in square to the full moon, is saying break free, break free. And Mars and Uranus have just had their conjunction, and Mars is moving forward, saying, let's move forward in a new way. And so other things in the chart quickly are that Pluto and Venus, the planet of earthly desire that rules Taurus, is conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation and death and rebirth. And they are in the sign of Capricorn, which are the structures and limitations and institutions of our society. All kinds, not just governmental institutions, it's also the structures of our own personal lives and the rules and the laws we live by. And this is bringing a big desire to create something new out of all the destruction that we've had, and the collapse of a lot of institutions in our lives, or the structures, the way that we think they should be, because they've always been that way. And the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, is in Aquarius, which he's the traditional ruler of, and he's saying, let's build something new. And there's a lot going on here. Saturn is going to be coming up to his first square with Uranus. So we've got this tension between the old and the new, but we've also got this tension between bringing in the very ancient in a modern way to recreate the best of. And that's where I see it going, with all this Aquarius energy as we move into what undoubtedly is the emergence of the Aquarian age. I'm not going to get into an argument about exactly when that begins, because I think it's a process, but we are moving into it. Now, also today, this morning, as we go towards the full moon, which is tomorrow at 12:16 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 7:16 p.m. in London, or 7:17, I think. Maybe should have been 12:17. And it's 2:16 p.m. on the East Coast, 11:16 a.m. on the West Coast, Pacific time. But earlier this morning, as we lead into this, Chariklo, who I've only just started really paying attention to, moved into Aquarius for the first time in 62 years. She was not discovered till February the 15th, 1997, which is a very big year for me. So that's very interesting, because I've got more to look at for that. And I'm not going to go into that for why, but Chariklo is the grace spinner. She's often called the silent witness or the space holder. I'm not so, she has been pretty invisible because she was just quietly went about her business. But isn't that the way with a lot of these goddess feminine archetypes or female archetypes in astrology? They have been hidden, and here she is. The very in fact, it was last week she really came to my attention personally. I'd heard of her before, but had not had time to research. And here she is, entering Aquarius, where she was, incidentally, when I was born. So I will be heading towards my Chariklo returns aptly next year, I think. So she's moved into Aquarius, and Chariklo in Aquarius is really about having compassion for all and being able to help maintain a sense of self through taking a big overview, because that's very Aquarius. But it's needing to see beyond the boundaries, because Aquarius is seeing that bigger picture. It's making those big connections. So Aquarius has just joined this big plethora of planets in Aquarius for this full moon. So we now have Chariklo, who is actually a centaur. And incidentally, interestingly, her orbit is between Saturn and Uranus, which are the traditional and modern rulers of Aquarius. And here she is in Aquarius, as these two are as Saturn and Uranus are going to square off this year. So I've got a lot more research to do on Cheriklo and what was going on when she was last in Aquarius. But I just wanted to say, here she is now with Saturn, Sun, asteroid Lilith, Jupiter, Pallas Athena, and Mercury, who is about to station direct. So this is really an astounding full moon. It's full of creative possibility, thinking outside the box about how we can create a new world, really, to for the good of all, remembering that we're all in it together. And then we have Venus, the earthly desires and soul desires coming together. We also have Black Moon Lilith coming together with Eris, the two wild card energies, the two energies that were rejected and shamed and thought ugly. And they're in Aries saying, come on, we have to include the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak. And then we also have Ceres opposing Vesta. And incidentally, Chariklo was believed to be in service to Vesta, the goddess of the hearth in Rome. So all these themes are coming together, but Vesta and Ceres are very healing aspects as well. Ceres is nurturing. She's grief and loss, yes, for what we had, but she's also about looking at what nurtures us and how we nurture. And this is in the sign of Source or Spirit, Pisces. And then Virgo brings it down to earth in a practical way in Virgo, saying, what are we devoted to moving forward? So I find it really interesting that my word for last year was grace and my word for this year is devotion. And they kind of came out of nowhere. And here we have grace, devotion. Chariklo is also a very devotional energy. They're very yin energies. I think it's time we all kind of came into this healing space and stopped making this that aspect of ourselves seem weak, because our society is changing and we're moving into a new world. So that was a very quick overview of this highly creative, potentially volatile with the square to Mars. So there may be some aggression around and some volatility because it is in fixed signs that Leo and Aquarius are fixed. Mars is squaring in a fixed sign. Uranus is squaring in a fixed sign. That's quite volatile and sudden change. And really, it will feel that way because we don't like change. So Aries, where is this for you, or Aries rising? So this will be in the area of your creative self-expression. Anything you create which is personal to you. So it may be children or art or just your creative self-expression in performance or something like that. It could also be in love affairs, but basically it's joy in living. So that for Aries, this full moon is very much about joy in living and releasing anything which stops that occurring for you. Okay. Taurus. For you, this will be likely affecting your home, your family, but also your inner soul or your inner home. And it may be something around your ancestors, your past, your home, something that you need to release in a big way. Okay. For Gemini, this is about your mind, your thinking, your communication, and your memory and your perceptions, how you perceive things. It could also be about siblings, but this will be a lot about releasing stinking thinking, to my mind, in this sign, and releasing old ideas. Okay. For Cancer or Cancer rising, this will be about your self-esteem, your self-worth, your inner resources, and potentially your well, your core values also, but potentially about your money and how you earn your money too. So we've got that too. So Leo, for you, this is all about your life force and vitality. This is a big full moon. This is about reaching into your heart and leading with your heart for your life force and vitality and your self-awareness. For Virgo, that's where I am. Virgo, this will be for you about things which are hidden, some kind of, perhaps some hidden fears, some areas of limitations, limiting beliefs. Okay, this will be to reach into your heart and let go, and change those limiting beliefs turn them around, rewrite them. Anywhere where you say I can't or I always or things like that, rewrite them to say yes, I can. Okay. I keep losing where I am. Libra, yours is about goals, objectives, hopes and wishes, big time. It may involve some groups and connections that you're in. It may involve some humanitarian projects, but really it's about your hopes and wishes for the bigger collective expanse, okay, as well as your personal hopes and wishes. For Scorpio, this is about your public reputation, your contribution in life publicly, what you put out in the world and how people see you publicly. So releasing anything that stops you being kind of a heart-led leader in life. For that was Libra. Scorpio. No, that was Scorpio. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. This is about higher wisdom and journeys, wonderment and wandering, with an A and an O. We're not wandering much these days, are we? But this is about, and finding, you may feel like the joy has been taken out of your sense of exploration and wonder this year, Sagittarius. But perhaps on the moon, on this full moon, you can release any idea of what you thought was filled you with joy and find new ways of wandering and new ways to fill your heart and lead with your heart. Okay. For Capricorn or Capricorn rising, this is about really joint resources, but also your deep psychological exploration. What brings you joy, that in great depth, releasing anything that doesn't fill your heart in that respect. So Aquarius, this is for you about your significant relationships, finding joy in those and stopping anything that doesn't allow you to find joy in those areas. It can also be something about finishing up something about, anything where you need to cooperate. It could be something, a legal matter as well, and commerce, or that kind of thing. Finally, Pisces, for you, this is about your work and health and service to others, okay, and your conditions of work and your diet perhaps too, and how you look, how you take care of yourself on a day-to-day basis, okay. So releasing anything and thinking outside the box within those areas of life. So again, if you enjoy my video, please leave it a like, subscribe, hit that little bell, perhaps share. Happy full moon. I'm very optimistic about this full moon. The fact it's with Jupiter. I like the fact that Mars has, that Jupiter's with the sun, that is. It feels like real equality is starting to come. It feels like we're letting go of anything that was stopping that in the past. I kind of like that Mars is, even though it's square and it was a bit like, oh, you know, Mars is at 10 degrees and this is at 9. So it's a new beginning. And Mars is the pioneer. And Mars has just been shaken up by his conjunction with Uranus. So maybe we're ready to really start to build this new life and create this new life, okay, as we move forward after some very, very challenging times. Okay. So much love to you. Make it a good ritual release ceremony, releasing any old limiting beliefs and ideas in the areas that I've talked about. Much love.